The new trailer about the Everflame mansion has introduced a couple of new characters yet again. And since there is quite a bit going on in the trailer, I would like to take a closer look at what was actually happening. First, let's talk about the children of the Everflame mansion. All of the children seem to have their own kind of power and mission that they have obtained from Ifrit. Starting with Akash.
Akash, I lit a fire in your eyes and showed you music of the strings. Serenade the celebration and hush the harmony into muted awe.
It will be done, Father.
His mission is to attack the harmony, and since the family are the worshippers of the harmony, it's safe to assume that he will be targeting the likes of Sunday and his underlings. But I think there is more to him than meets the eye. As one of Duke Inferno's children, he has received some of the powers of the destruction, specifically inside his eyes. I think the reason Akash was chosen to attack the family directly is because music and eyes have a certain commonality. They manipulate and express emotions. It wouldn't be strange if Akash has the power to manipulate emotions through his music, and thereby disrupting the harmony inside people. Especially since Akash is called the Tuner. The power to attack the harmony directly is terrifying and also probably one of the most effective methods of harming the family. Moving on to Dubra.
Dubra, I set your form alight and taught you mastery of the blade. Temper it with sulfur, made the elation, and let the performer's blood and tears pour into the abyss.
As you wish, Father.
It seems that the only form that was left after receiving the power of the destruction is the flames on their face. And since Dubra's target is the elation, she'll be targeting Sparkle and the other masked fools, if they're there. Dubra's title as the Scribe seems a bit off at first, since they are a master of the blade. But they do seem to have a flair for the dramatic, since they are puppeting a false body. I think to attack the elation they might be focused on creating as much despair as possible, but as for how they will be doing that, I have no idea.
Caterina, I kindled a flame in your heart and granted you blood of fire. Use your wrath to shatter the preservation sanctum and build their gold to create a statue of our savior.
You got it, old man.
Caterina has received the power of the destruction inside her heart and blood, which granted her uncanny amounts of strength and rage, which is probably why she is bound in shackles to hold herself back. Her target will be the preservation, but it's a bit more specific than that. When the preservation was mentioned, they meant the IPC, since the IPC worships the preservation. So her main target will be Aventurine, since he will be there representing the IPC as one of the 10 Stonehearts. Topaz will be there as well, so we will see where that goes.
And Constance at last. My most ambitious and exceptional child. There is nothing more to teach you. Just remember, without penacony's midnight hour, strip away all they hold dear and leave naught but the remembrances too.
Duke Inferno calls Constance his most ambitious child. Personally, I don't think he means that Constance herself is an ambitious person, but rather that she is his most ambitious project. Until now, every child has body parts infused with the power of the destruction, but the very next step would be infusing someone's very soul. When you take a closer look at the burning flower, it seems that the flower is simultaneously feeding and being fed by the flame. The underside is withering, while the top side is blooming. Her title as the Dahlia might suggest that Duke Inferno has found the perfect balance of destructive powers to infuse with her, to make sure she blooms into the perfect vessel for power without consuming herself. Just like a flower needs the right environment to flourish and bloom. She also has the biggest and probably the hardest target, the Remembrance. Not only will she have to face Black Swan, who represents the Garden of Recollection, but penacony itself runs on dreams and memories. So personally, I'm really excited to see what she will achieve. I would also like to mention that Constance seems to be the only person without physical impairments. Akash seems to be either blind or needs glasses. Dubra doesn't even have a body anymore, and Caterina needs to be shackled at all times. Constance, however, only has a couple of demonic traits, which also hints at her soul being corrupted. And lastly, I would like to talk about some weird symbolism in the trailer. At the beginning, we see a broken clock with one of the hands burning at 12 o'clock. And since Ifrit mentions the midnight hour later in the trailer as well, they might have something planned when the clock strikes 12. Of course, it might also just hint towards penacony itself being destroyed, since the planet already has quite a few references to time, like the giant clock on the Reverie Hotel, and even the new trailer, that came out during the making of this video, has Clocky as a mascot, and even the music has constant clock ticking sounds. Moving on, we see a goat leaking the blood of destruction. This is most likely representing Ifrit sending his children to attack penacony as a rite of passage. Then, Akash kind of looks like those biblically accurate angels, and Dubra looks like the apple from the Garden of Eden. I don't think we need to look too hard into this, except that this is representing them receiving their powers. Another potential reference to the Bible is this.
Use your wrath to shatter the Preservation Sanctum and build their gold to create a statue of our Savior.
This is most likely a reference to the golden calf, which was worshipped by the people instead of God. And since Ifrit is trying to worship Nanook to destruction without really understanding them, it might hint that Ifrit has the same level of ignorance as the people in the Bible story. And of course, at the very end we see a projection of the Reverie Hotel, which is at the heart of this whole operation since it's very important to penacony. Anyways, that's all I can say about this trailer. If there's anything you would like to add, leave a comment below. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good one. Bye!